Hello, today is Friday, the 1st of May, and who thought we would be here still on the 1st of May in some kind of isolation-y kind of a lockdown. But today we're very excited in New South Wales because those of us who are well, who've got well friends and family, can have 1 or 2 visitors. Wow, it's probably worth cleaning the house. Anyway, I'm a bit hot and sweaty today, and I realised that on Fridays I'm often in a real rush to finish with clients and set this up, and literally just sat down 5 minutes ago to start this happening. So I can be a little bit discombobulated on Fridays. You know how it is. It's the end of the week. You've been working, got lots of thoughts in my head, and I just want to kind of clean things up, shut the workroom, and have a weekend. So I'm thinking back over this week what we've talked about, and I know we began on Monday sitting in front of Helen's beautiful quilt, doing a body scan. So if you missed that or you enjoyed it and want to go back, just go to the YouTube channel, Jill Stannard Naturopath, and you will see on Monday we did the body scan. Or go to Insight Timer, INSIGHT, Insight Timer. Also this week, I took you to the kitchen. Oh, hi, Sheree Change. Good to see you. Even if we haven't yet got to see each other in person, it's going to happen soon. So, 2 days ago, I was in the kitchen going through my pantry, and I shared with you the quinoa, the chia seeds, the different types of lentils and dal, lentils and split peas and chana dal, so you can make dal. And I popped all the recipes below on both Facebook and on YouTube. And yesterday, if you were here, I took you to the boudoir to share Jennifer Loudon's 90s book that I still love, called The Woman's Comfort Book. So if you want to look back on that and find out a bit more about it, please do. So as I said, Friday's a bit of a wrap up, and these little rants, as always, are very unscripted. And what's kind of come to my mind today is 2 things. Firstly, just the public service announcement that I've been told some really horrendous, kind of funny but really horrendous stories about how some people in New South Wales are getting very excited about the slight lessening of restrictions. And I have heard about a few elderly members of the state who are very happy because they're going to invite all their friends around for a party. Please don't. 1 or 2 adults with their kids, if they have them, still need to keep that 1.5, but actually I prefer to go with the rest of the world with the 2 meters away from each other. And, you know, obviously got a scratchy throat, feeling tired, just feeling a little bit not quite right, either the visitor or the visitee, hold it off till you feel better. Also a reminder, here in New South Wales and most parts of Australia, if you do feel a bit not quite right, they really want you to get tested now. All those restrictions have dropped, so go off and do that. So one of the things I brought up probably 6 weeks ago, earlier in these little chats, was what are these interesting times giving you permission to do, to consider? And this continues to come up with my clients, my mentees, and with friends. And so often what I am hearing is particularly parents would like to, and people not parents, would like to work from home more when this is over. That we have this opportunity of growth, and that growth means we don't have to go back to the old ways. We can go forward into a new way. And that can be really scary. Change is scary. Change that's forced upon us is scary. But maybe now you've had enough time to get used to our current new normal, and your prefrontal cortex isn't being shut down by fear anymore. You may have gone through, we talked about last Friday, you know, how a lot of people really crashed last week. And I think that was partly because we've been on high alert. Our cortisol had been could have been too high for too long. And when that alert starts to drop, when you start to realise that the wheels haven't fallen off, your adrenal glands start to normalise the hormone levels that they're putting out, and you can crash. You can be flat emotionally and physically. So hopefully by this Friday, you're feeling okay, feeling a bit optimistic. And I really would like you to think about, what does this time of reflection and change give you the opportunity to consider? And something that will also get you to consider, if something hasn't felt quite right and you're feeling some inklings of change, or you're kind of looking back and saying, no, that's not my spiritual home, that way I'm working or living. Apart from the giving yourself permission, you might want to check in with your values. Just Google values exercise. I don't know if I've got some that I usually share with my mentees. You can contact me if you don't know how to do a values exercise or can't find one that makes sense to you. But I did mine again this morning, because usually around this time of year I do my values exercise. For the past 3 years, before 2017, 18, 19, I, along with my lovely colleague Charmaine Dennis down in Melbourne, and to say, if you're in Melbourne and you are out and about in the inner north, do pop into the Melbourne Apothecary, which is open to help you. That's fertile ground from East Melbourne, has moved to Smith Street in, I think it's the Fitzroy side of the road, not the Collingwood side of the road of Smith Street. But my Charmaine and I, for these previous 3 years, would take a group of practitioners to Bali and give them a real intensive for 6 days about really looking into values, looking into your stories, and giving opportunity and tools to reimagine your future going forward. So I did my values this morning. I can share some of them with you. Number one is authenticity. Look, I turn up with my hair barely brushed, not dressed, not made up to the nines. I've never made up to the nines. I'm just me, babbling away, unscripted, every weekday at 1 for the duration. So other things that are really important to me is being of service. So being of service means that I'm really happy to share this time and knowledge and try to garner a bit of community support and kindness and get you thinking about things, about sharing what I'm thinking about. If that's what you want to think about too, it's entirely up to you. And there are a number of other values. So one thing about knowing your values is that when you are making big decisions, and the big decision could be to move away from something or someone or some kind of job, or move towards something, someone, some kind of job, some different way of living, check in with your values. Know your values and check in with them, because that's your moral, ethical compass. And being aware of that can make it really easy to make decisions. So if you are thinking about changing how you're living or working, then ask yourself in what way this change will be in alignment with your values, or how you were operating before was non-alignment with your values. And I've had some really interesting experiences with practitioners, and with clients, with naturopathic clients as well, about when they've been really working out of alignment with their values, and they didn't have the language to describe that at the time, but just knew something wasn't quite right. So if something's not quite right for you, do your values. Get in touch with me if you want to know how to do values, but otherwise just Google it. And that's a bit of homework for the weekend if that interests you. So I hope the sun is shining where you are, and if it's not, that you're warm and cozy, that you're embracing this slightly different time for now. And I'll be back on Monday at 1 o'clock AEST, which is East Coast Australian time, 3 o'clock in New Zealand. If you want to see the archives, go to the YouTube channel or my Facebook.com, where some of you are now, some of you are on Insta, but that's City Natural Therapy, is my webpage. Have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you soon. Bye and bye.